All right, Mr. Spector, go live.
Thank you, Judge. My name is Howard Mark Spector. I am the receiver in cause number DC-17-12500, styled as West Summit Investments LP plaintiff versus Neil Richards Group LLC defendant.
Mr. Hoffman, go ahead and announce yourself and your role within the case.
My name is Paul Hoffman. I'm counsel for Glendon Todd Capital and now for Hefe Plover Interests.
There's a number of attorneys that have been involved in this case in the past. Is there any expectation by either of you that they will attend this hearing?
No, Judge.
Same here.
All right. Well, the hearing time has started. So, Mr. Spector, why don't you give your report?
Thank you, Judge. Your Honor, this is the first of many reports that I will be filing with respect to the 7 entities for which I am receiver. This report deals with Fort Worth Development LLC, which is the general partner of it's Neil Richards Group Fort Worth Development LLC, which is the general partner of a partnership that previously owned and operated a hospital in Fort Worth that was part of the Neil Richards Group and Neil Richards Group hospital facility that has since closed. This particular entity had a large sum of money, most of which was distributed to shareholders or limited partners in the partnership at the inception of the receivership. The balance, which currently is approximately $900,000, remains in the receivership. During the course of the last 3 years, most of my efforts have been spent administering the assets of the other receivership entities. I have mostly acted as an escrow agent for this entity, in addition to filing tax returns, reviewing for the integrity of the books and records, making sure there were no outstanding debts or claims following the bankruptcy, and getting their corporate tax returns in good standing with both the state and federal governments so that this entity can be wound down. I provided the court with an exhibit, Exhibit A, to the receivership report. It describes all of the checks that have previously been issued by my office in connection with this receivership. In addition to that, I provided Exhibit B, which shows the relative percentages of each owner of the limited partnership that would receive a distribution of the remaining funds. At this point, there are 3 matters that remain to be dealt with by me as receiver. First, there is a potential refund of certain taxes that were paid to the state. That refund should be brought to conclusion in the next 30 days. Second, there is a small amount of legal outstanding for this receivership owed to Mr. Genovine's firm. I estimate that is less than $5,000. And third, Your Honor, there is the matter of my fee, which was addressed not as a hourly fee, but it was at the inception of the case. These receiverships, it was left to the court to determine a receiver's fee. In that regard, Your Honor, I reserve the right in the receivership report to ask for up to 5% as a receiver's fee, recognizing that 5% was certainly the upper bound of anything I could conceive of as reasonable under these circumstances. I have discussed an appropriate fee with Mr. Hoffman, and he and I have agreed to recommend to the court a fee of 1% of the funds administered in this receivership, which would be $76,542.29. Your Honor, in exchange for that fee, I have also agreed to conclude the other matters. In other words, I will not be seeking additional compensation from the court for administering this receivership through the end of the year, filing the tax returns for 2020, obtaining the tax refund from the state if one is available, and making a final distribution to the limited partners of any refund received.
So I
So
was,
if the court find, yeah, sorry.
I was looking at the system. I didn't see one, and it could be you emailed and it just isn't scanned in, or maybe it was a while ago. Did you submit an order that kind of details all of this, or are we talking about it and you'll submit an order?
Yeah, the latter, Judge. I have not submitted an order because I hadn't come to an agreement with Mr. Hoffman. Mr. Hoffman represents one of the larger limited partners, certainly had a greater stake in the outcome of my fee than most of the other partners. So I thought it was appropriate at least to visit with him on that matter in advance of the hearing. What I propose to do is to submit an order that does not finally dispose of the receivership, that simply grants as an interim order the compensation, details the remaining matters that are to be concluded by the receiver, and then when those matters have been concluded, simply file a final motion approving the distribution of the remaining funds, if there are any, which will be relatively de minimis. This order would approve the distribution of the remaining approximately $890,000 after that amount is reduced by fees and the expenses that I've detailed.
Mr. Hoffman?
We have no objection to the amount of fees Mr. Spector discussed.
Do you have any objection to anything that's contained in the order?
No, not as far as I know. Based upon what he just said, it's fine.
I will run the order by Mr. Hoffman before I submit it to the court.
There used to be quite a few attorneys on this, and there was an appeal and all sorts of stuff. Are they going to sign off on this, or kind of what's the current status? Because I think I've missed a couple chapters here.
Well, Your Honor, you may recall the dispute didn't really involve Fort Worth, so all of the other attorneys who have made appearances have appeared in connection with disputes that relate to other entities, which is, I think, why none of them took any position on the motion or have appeared at this hearing. In addition to giving those, I'm sorry.
Are you going to be seeking receivers fees from them as well, or just from Fort Worth?
No, I'll be seeking different amounts from different entity.
Ah, okay. So this is just the total amount of the receivership fees from this particular entity.
Correct, Judge. And just, I didn't mention, every limited partner in Fort Worth has also been given notice of this hearing in case they objected to the percentages that I've outlined in Exhibit B.
Okay. Go ahead and submit an order that's signed off by both of you. Email it to Rhonda as well as e-filing it. And thank you for your service, Mr. Spector. Is there anything else we need to chat about?
No, Judge. I will be doing Austin next, and I hope to file that by the end of this week.
And is all the appeals over on this? Have they all been resolved, or?
Yes, Judge. Your Honor approved a settlement that resolved the appeals by both sides. That would be Dallas and Austin. We basically both agreed to accept the court's ruling. Dallas accepted the court's ruling adverse to Dallas. Austin accepted it.
I thought it was an exceptionally wise ruling, didn't you?
I did. That's why I made it the basis of the settlement agreement, Judge.
I'm just kidding. I thought it was a tough call. It was a very complicated situation. So I'm glad it all worked out. So, all right. Thank you, guys. And you are excused. Thank you so much for your service. Just get us an order as soon as you can.
Thank you.
Thank you, Judge. Have a nice day.
Bye-bye. So let me turn off YouTube. Mr. Spector said, oh, let me remove Mr. Spector. There we go. And then Tony, Rhonda, we'll meet you guys back here at What? Oh, shoot. What just happened? I hit the wall. Thank you.